It is upon review on the Reier on YouTube channel. Travis Reier back with you on a Saturday morning following the Jacksonville Jaguars Friday night whitewashing of the Atlanta Falcons up in the ATL. 31 to nothing. The Jags get the job done. A 3-0 preseason complete for Doug Peterson's team. What does it all mean? We'll find out in the next few hours and days as the Jags now have to get down to that 53-man roster. Obviously, some IR situations to take into account. You also have a suspension for 6 games involving Deshaun Gibson, the safety. So some different moving pieces to account for. But what we do know is that the Jacksonville Jaguars were very crisp and precise in taking out an Atlanta team consisting largely of veterans. Got to remember that. But hey, give the Jaguars credit. Controlled the controllables, did what they needed to do, clean, crisp, concise, and it is another preseason win. And with that, we'll get to the highlights from the Jags' latest preseason win. And we'll start there in the first quarter with the Falcons on offense. Taylor Heineke at the quarterback position. No Kirk Cousins. Again, not much in the way of even first or second teamers, but it is Heineke from the shotgun. It is a 3rd and 10. And right, Jacksonville showing people here as we get going. How about this? 6-man pressure as Terrell Edmunds comes late from the safety position, running a twist inside involving Travon Walker and Devin Lloyd. Falcons get it picked up just enough. You can even see Darnell Savage coming from the nickel down here. Edmunds late, and Heineke, give him a lot of credit. You got Mooma in the middle of the field there, but this is excellent throw and catch against Heat, and he hooks up with Washington there to convert the 3rd and long. You'll see it again here from the end zone angle. Here comes Edmunds late. It looks like right here at about the 47-yard line, Ronald Darby's in good shape. You got Andre Cisco in the deep middle of the field, but boy, this is excellent ball placement, anticipation, knowing where to go against pressure. Give Heineke and the Falcons credit for this one as it converts a 3rd and 10. Had a nice sequence from Travis Gibson in the game at the edge position leading up to this 2nd and 19 for the Falcons. He had a nice pass rush to get some pressure, then set a very nice edge against the run. So I'm feeling like at least going into all of this roster movement in the next few hours, Travis Gibson's got to be in a pretty good place to make this 53-man roster. And so here's Heineke in the gun again, 2nd and long for the Falcons once again. Early win for Mason Smith right here, working against the right guard for the Falcons. Little swim move. And then Heineke, he's a veteran, though. Smith looks like he's in great shape to finish on the sack, but goes with both hands up. Whoop, misses Heineke, who ducks out of the way. Heineke able to flip it to his back in the flat. Here comes Savage from the nickel position. Does enough to get him inside and help his teammates clean it up there, and the Jags would eventually get off the field on defense. Some 12 personnel for the Jaguar offense to open the game, and you're going to get some counter action early to Travis Etienne. You pull Brandon Sheriff from that right guard spot. Here he comes. He's going to work against the edge right there. And then you insert Evan Engram, who you had lined up as a fullback H-back type. He gets his guy, gets that inside backer. And now Travis is going to be able to pick up some positive yardage on 1st down. So a positive start for the Jaguar run game. I know when you watch that, you may see Mitch Morse, and he's not exactly pushing his guy 2 or 3 yards off the ball. Well, that's not exactly the scheme or the concept the Jags are employing there. He's trying to take care and make sure his guy doesn't get across his face and is able to blow up that counter because it takes some time to get going. Morse actually did a nice job there of not giving up too much ground while accounting for his guy and giving Sheriff and Engram time to get to where they needed to be. So now a 2nd and 3 out of a similar formation as what you had on the 1st down run. This time it's going to be straight zone. Good stuff here by Cam Robinson, also Ezra Cleveland at the left guard position. You get this corner sinking down here with Gabe Davis. And when that happens, that's where ETN's speed really comes into play, because that's all it takes get that corner inside just enough, and now Travis is able to get the edge, and you got an explosive play on 2nd and 3 for the Jaguar offense. See it again here. Here's Cam taking care of his guy. Cleveland, good work there. You see Mitch Morse doing a good job. Really good stuff up front. Travis able to split it, and there he goes for a first down for the Jaguars. Got caught by a bit of a sniper there at the end of that run. So now you've run the football out of similar formations to open the game. And here you are again. You've still got Engram lined up in the backfield with Travis Etienne. And now you're going to go hard play action. And because you're able to do that, and a safety comes down late, the safety right here at about the 33 came down late, you're able to influence this inside linebacker with the play action, suck him up just enough. Now you've got Brian Thomas Jr. running the hash mark up top with Gabe Davis on the bottom running the go to clear this out to the bottom of the screen. And Trevor on time and on the money to Brian Thomas Jr. on the run. I like this right here because we know Brian Thomas Jr. vertically can make things happen. But watch this little subtle move. That's going to end up accounting for another 7 or 8 yards. So good stuff early on from Brian Thomas Jr. The space maker, BTJ. Here it is. Play action, on time, accurate. You got that safety coming down late. You replace that void with Thomas in the middle of the field. Yeah. So a 3rd and goal for the Jags later in the possession. You've got a bunch formation right here with Gabe Davis, Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr. Now up here to the top. This is really what Trevor is wanting to work because he's got Evan Engram, and it looks like it's going to be potentially man, kind of a zone look before the snap, but you're going to run ATN up to that top on a rail, and you'll see it here post snap, and that creates some opportunity. But as much as anything, this is a great ball from Trevor and an excellent finish at the high point by Evan Engram. Just 4 touchdown catches a year ago for Evan Engram. Here he is with the first of 2 on Friday night at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Excellent ball placement. We'll see it again right here. You see Travis hit the flat. He takes the backer with him. This is still a tight window, though, because the safety got caught a little bit down inside, but he's still not in terrible shape. But look at this ball placement. Look at this finish by Evan Engram. And it's a 7-0 lead for the Jacksonville Jaguars. One more time right there. You've seen these two in training camp and really throughout the last few years work this concept. And so it's a really cool thing to see it come to fruition on the field. The ensuing kickoff from Cam Little. And what you're watching here in the final preseason game is for clues as roster spots might be concerned. You've got some positions that provide guys to these special teams like linebacker, like tight end, like wide receiver. And so when I'm watching this, I'm watching for bubble type guys. I'm watching for Tim Jones. Is he out there? Yes, he is right there on the right side of the screen. What about Caleb Johnson, the inside linebacker? Is he out there? Yes, he is. So those are some of the things you're looking for. Doesn't always mean it's going to play out that way for the guys that are out there early in special team situations, but it's certainly not a bad thing either. So 3rd and 3 for the Falcons later in the possession. And again, a lot of reserves on the field for the Falcons on Friday night. And so what you're looking for from guys like Travon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen is to win against these offensive tackles. And we'll see that right here. Travon with his hands up and into the face of Heineke, able to get the pass break up there on 3rd down against a 3rd-team offensive tackle. And with that, the Falcons are going to give it a go on 4th and 3. And you'll see up here to the top of the screen, Casey Washington, probably the top wide receiver on the field for Atlanta Friday night. He's manned up against Tyson Campbell. And the Jags here trust their top corner against Washington. It is man coverage. Heineke gives it a brief look to the field, but he's going to come back to the boundary and throw that go on 4th and 3. Tyson in great shape. And that is a defensive stop for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags with a 1st and 10 late in the first quarter. Evan motions across the formation. He doesn't have anyone going with him, so that's telling Trevor he's looking at some zone, but it doesn't really matter because this is more of a split zone to Travis Etienne. He's going to find a little bit of a lane. Now, Etienne isn't a guy that's always going to run big between the tackles, but he can run small between the tackles. And that helps right there as Morse and Cleveland do just enough to give him a glimmer to work through. And Travis, once he gets that, then it's about acceleration. You'll see it here. See Evan cross post snap, Scherf at the right guard position, getting just enough. You'll see Morse. And when this linebacker that Morse is working against can't stay on his feet, that's about all it takes. A lot of times, once you get between the tackles in situations like this, it's about who can stay on their feet. You see guys on the ground, whether it's offensive linemen, defensive linemen, or linebackers, that's typically not going to be a good thing for either side of the football. But this time it worked to the Jags' advantage, and it's Travis with another explosive here early in the game Friday night. As you see, Cam doing his job at the left tackle position, Cleveland in pretty good shape. Morse gets to the second level, and then when the linebacker goes down, that's all it's going to take to turn perhaps a short run into something much more for number one. Jags in a 4th and 1 from the red zone. Trevor under center. I like this because I like Tank Bigsby in the game in this situation, short yardage goal line. And initially, some good work here. Anton Harrison, the big right tackle, caving things down. Gabe Davis, this is where his size can also be beneficial at the wide receiver position because he can do some things against even linebackers to help you get a yard when you need it. And Tank's in good shape here. He's going to cut it just a little bit. Situational awareness, I worry about sometimes with Tank Bigsby like this on a 4th and 1. Go ahead and finish the run, cover the football, and move the chains. The good news is he already had this converted when he decided to make this cut to the outside. And it's a good thing because you just don't want to give up what should be a gimme first down by stopping or trying to make a cut. Again, Bigsby was in good shape. Perhaps he knew that. And the other side of that is in a situation like that, how many times have you seen the back turn a 4th and 1 into an explosive play for a touchdown? All's well that ends well there, and Bigsby keeps the drive alive. In a 2nd-and-goal, Trevor from under center once again. Quick play action look. He wants to work the middle. Similar concept to what we saw with Evan Engram on his touchdown. That's kind of what Gabe Davis gives you, another Evan Engram type, especially in these red zone opportunities. Not a bad ball from Trevor right here. This is pretty good DB play by a third-team corner against Gabe Davis, and it's going to go incomplete in the end zone. Now, keep in mind, you're going to see 43 against Evan Engram coming up here in just a little bit. And after working to the post a couple of times, Evan is going to use that to his advantage coming up here on a 3rd-and-goal. There you see it one more time from Trevor. Not a bad ball, but a lot of traffic there. You just don't want to throw a pick. So you're okay with that result if you're a Jaguar fan. So now you play the 3rd-and-goal, and you've got Evan actually lined up in line right here to the top hash mark, and he's going to work against the corner one more time. And remember on the touchdown, and just a second ago, by Gabe Davis, how he worked back to the post. Well, set it up to the post and then run it to the corner. And look at this route by Evan Engram against a corner. And he's able to get the separation, and it's an easy throw and catch for a touchdown. I like that Evan used his body on the catch to keep that chasing defender at bay too, because a lot of times you'll see even post-catch, corners, defensive backs, they're able to get the ball out right about there because receivers don't turn and shield the football from the defender. Great route by Evan Engram. High points, secures it to the ground, and that is another Jaguar touchdown. 10:09 left in the second quarter. Jags still with a good bit of starters out there. Here comes more pressure from Ryan Nielsen. This is at least 5. It may be 6. And again, you're seeing this pass rush cause a lot of problems for these reserve offensive tackles for the Falcons. You'll see it to the top of the screen. Travon Walker doing what he should do. Abdullah getting a little bit of heat down here. Here comes Devin Lloyd on the blitz. Little bit of a spin move by Trevon, turns back inside, and he and Devin Lloyd able to combine for the cleanup of Heineke. So now a 3rd and 2 a little bit later, and here comes that pass rush again. It's like a race to the quarterback at this point when you've got Josh Hines-Allen and Travon Walker out there against backup offensive tackles. You're going to have a hold to go along with this. You can see it. Watch what Josh Hines-Allen does down here in the power. Yeah, I mean, he's just resetting his guy. The Falcons try to chip on Travon Walker. No, that doesn't really work. And so it's a party at the quarterback. Big Devon Hamilton able to get home just about there as well. Jags back with the football now. Starters out of there after a couple of touchdown drives. So you've got second team players and you've got Mac Jones at the quarterback position, and you're running a counter here to Tank, and you pull your guard. You're going to pull Luke Fortner right here out in front as well. This is going to go for a nice pickup. Some pretty good work up there from the tackle position. And here goes Tank to the corner. Good stuff. Explosive run. Nice night running the football for the Jacksonville Jaguars, really throughout the depth chart. 3rd and 5 here for Mac. And you get the sense he either just didn't like this from the snap, or he did sense or feel some early pressure to his face. And unless he goes to Parker Washington right here on the hitch, this isn't going anywhere based on his early movement from within the pocket. And you've got a spin move against Walker Little to the top of the screen. So once Mac runs up in the pocket, he essentially also runs up into a sack for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Down goes Mac, and that's going to lead to a punt for the Jaguar offense. I was kind of hoping maybe Doug would run Cam out there, let him try, just a 64, 65-yard field goal, but it didn't happen. There you see it again. Some early pressure. Really looks like it's pretty good shape right there. But then when this spin move happens with Walker Little, that takes away what Mac wants to do, and that's run up into the pocket and eliminates that possibility for the Jaguar quarterback. 3rd and 5 for the Falcons from their own 25. It's a 3-by-1 look to the field. Heineke wants to work back to the boundary. He's got one-on-one coverage trying to move the sticks, but there's that guy again. Tyson Campbell working against Washington with some nice coverage. Now you watch it in slow-mo, okay. You could say in real time, if it's good coverage, that pretty much when you slow it down, it's going to look early on the replay. And that was the case again, but another nice play by Tyson Campbell, really playing at a high level. And he needs to be, because we know what awaits this Jaguars defense down in South Florida coming up in a few Sundays. Late in the second quarter, Mac from the gun on a 2nd and 3, and he knows he's got the matchup he wants to the bottom of the screen, because he's got Elijah Cooks with that size going against a corner that is 5'11", 175 pounds, and he's going to go there every time. Back shoulder to Cooks. Another one of those guys, a bubble guy at the wide receiver position. Is it an either-or situation with, say, Elijah Cooks and maybe Tim Jones? We're going to find out soon enough, but Mac knew exactly what he wanted to do with that one. Watching this replay, you wondered a little bit. And again, you can see it right here. Falcons pretty much zoned up across the board, but Mac knows he's pretty much got a man situation down here into the boundary. Waste no time going to it. That's good ball placement. That's a nice job by Cooks. I wondered on the replay, though, would they overturn this? Because it did look like the ball was moving just a little bit. The knees in, ball moved a little bit going to the ground, but it stood up. And it's a touchdown for Elijah Cooks. And good for him, because it wasn't the best of outings for him against the Bucs last weekend. He needed that to solidify his chances of either a 53-man spot, perhaps a practice squad as well. Again, wide receiver, one of those areas you're going to have your eyes on. 9:42 left in the third quarter. It is a 3rd and 10. And when Austin Trammell is on the field in this situation, you kind of know what's coming, right? 3-by-1, 3 wide receivers to the field. Trammell working inside up there at the top hash mark. Mac going to let his tight end kind of sit it down there in the flat. Cooks is going to run to the post And here comes Trammell on a bit of a dagger concept to the outside. And boy, these two guys, they worked a lot in the preseason. Can you tell? On time, accurate to Trammell, who once again comes up big on a third down. And I don't know if Austin Trammell, I said this last week, is a Jaguar in the coming days, especially where the 53-man roster is concerned, maybe the practice squad. But I feel comfortable in thinking that this guy is going to be a practice squad guy, at least for some team in the National Football League. There he is once again, setting up a first and goal for the Jaguar offense. And so now it's Jalen Jackson. And Jalen Jackson's a guy in the last couple of weeks we just haven't seen as much from. In fact, felt like we saw more of Gary Brightwell, who was added into training camp as a running back. But Jackson's going to get an opportunity here. Left side of the offensive line does what it needs to do. Not so much maybe for Sean Bauman, the tight end up there to the top of the formation. Don't think he really got his guy, but Walker Little, I think that's Blake Hance that's still in there. Watch the interior right there. That's nice by Walker Little, getting some movement on 98. You can see Bauman right there. His guy's able to kind of get across his face and into the gap, but Jackson is able to work through the contact, get into the end zone. So the rookie undrafted free agent from Villanova with a highlight, regardless of what happens here in the next couple of days. So the Jags now in an advantage of 28-0. It is a 4th and 1 for the Falcons from the Jaguars 41. Reserves Orama out there right now. Our guy Joey G in there at this bottom of the screen defensive end position. You're going to have multiple Jag defenders in the same gap right here. And that's not going to be a good thing as the Falcons are able to hit it for an explosive run on a 4th and 1. You'll see it here more on the replay. You've got the rookie defensive tackle, Jordan Jefferson, in this gap. You've got Caleb Johnson at inside linebacker coming down. And then Cole, your defensive end, gets caught inside too. See these three guys basically right here, especially those two, Cole and Johnson. Then it's just an easy cutback for the back. And then you've got Edmonds and Amos and the safeties rallying to limit this thing as best they can. There it is one more time. About as easy as it gets when you get guys in the same gap. So 3rd and 6 for the Falcons from the Jaguars' 24-yard line. DJ Coleman as an edge rusher here gets some nice power against this right offensive tackle, Stubner, for the Falcons. You'll see it. And 74 for the Falcons kind of reminds me of Javon Foster last week against the Bucs when Foster got all of those snaps, and it took a toll. He wore down as the game moved along. And I think this is a similar situation here. You get fresh pass rushers against a reserve offensive tackle who isn't conditioned in a way to play 40, 50 plus snaps. But Coleman takes advantage of it. Look at this right there, boy, on that top hash mark right at the 30-yard line. Coleman does a number on Stubner there. And here you see the throw to the flat. Again, Buster Brown in good position. Another one of those guys at the corner spot. Who makes it? Who's left out? How many corners do the Jags keep? How is that impacted by the safety position and some things that you know are coming down the road even there? Your nickel guy, is Darnell Savage a safety? Is he a corner? How do you allot those type of players based on positional groups? So good stuff, though, from Buster Brown right there on a 3rd down for the Jaguar defense. Getting late in the 3rd quarter now, Mack from under center, split zone. Gary Brightwell, we talked about him a little bit earlier. And let's give Sean Bauman some flowers right here. He whiffed down on the goal line, does a pretty good job right here to the top of the screen, and that helps Brightwell, along with Javon Foster and some other guys on that left side, get the corner, and it's an explosive play for Gary Brightwell here in the 3rd quarter. And this is what you wanted to see to sort of wrap things up from Friday night. You had seen very good things start to finish from your offense. You had seen very good things defensively from start to finish. You wanted to see Cam Little. He had already made 4 extra points. So this is just a little bit further than that kick. 40-yarder for the rookie from Arkansas, and he comes in and just absolutely drills it. And with that, pretty much the icing on the cake for an impressive performance for the Jacksonville Jaguars Again, perfect in the 2024 preseason. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing, because again, we know what awaits this team, especially in the first 4 games or so of this upcoming schedule, really the first 4 or 5. Not for the faint of heart, but it does look like a team when you think about areas that you wanted to see on Friday night, the offensive line being in that group, because we hadn't seen that first 5 together as much as we would like. We saw that. They were very effective. Still have concerns about depth where the offensive line is concerned, but across the board, a team, a personnel department, a coaching staff together that's going to have to make a few tough decisions. Now, I didn't go into Friday night thinking, oh, wow, there's still 12, 14 roster spots up for grabs. No, I think it's a much smaller number than that, but still, it's the situation you want to be in as a franchise that it gets tougher to make those calls as you get closer to cut down date. And with that, that's another edition of Upon Review right here on the Reier on YouTube channel. We thank you very much for joining us. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. It's as easy as hitting that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're at it. That way you get all of our content, or you're alerted to our content as it drops. And also, if you don't mind, a like would help us out tremendously as well. Travis Reier, thanking you once again. And until next time, so long, everybody.